Good morning, Eastview. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Monday. It's Connor here from the online campus, and we hope you've been enjoying these Devos happening Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays because we're talking about expanding them to 5 days a week starting after Easter, which means Devos each and every morning, Monday through Friday, which is an opportunity for you to get into the Word and start your day off well. So be on the lookout for more information on this coming soon. But in the meantime, we want to get to what Zach, our high school pastor, talked about yesterday morning. He preached from Jeremiah 17, and it was just a great word on remaining hopeful, especially in seasons where things are hard, right? We're starting a new week. It's Monday. Maybe you're looking at this week and thinking, man, I've got some heavy lifting to do. There's a lot going on. Well, what Zach talks about is not putting all of the weight, all of the burden on yourself, right? If you rely on yourself, trust in yourself only, you're lifting something that you weren't meant to lift all on your own. And so we're going to read about this in just a moment, Jeremiah 17, 5 through 10. So before we read, if you're someone who is looking out on this week and you're feeling stressed, anxious, you're worried about what's to come, maybe you should go ahead and listen to the sermon again. I'll put the link in the description below. It's encouraging. So let's read this, and then on your own time, go ahead and listen to that sermon. I think you'll find it to be helpful. So here it is, Jeremiah 17, 5 through 10. It says this. This is what the Lord says. Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who depends on flesh for his strength, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. He will be like a bush in the wastelands. He will not see prosperity when it comes. He will dwell in the parched places of the desert, in a salt land where no one lives. But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. He will be like a tree planted by the water, that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green, and it has no worries in a year of drought. It never fails to bear fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? I, the Lord, search the heart and examine the mind to reward a man according to his conduct, according to what his deeds deserve. The quick background for this story, what's happening, is that the current leaders of Israel at this time, they're not relying on God. They're not relying on the Ten Commandments. They're not relying on what they learned from their ancestors. They're relying on themselves, and they're hurting the people around them, right? They're leaving God's leadership, and God is warning them through the prophet Jeremiah to return back to him, to remain in him. And so because of that, God gives them a warning what happens when we rely upon ourselves, especially because our heart is deceitful, right? We lie to ourselves sometimes. We feel things that aren't true at times. And so because of that, we can't just rely on our subjective selves. We need to rely on the objectivity of who God is and how he commands us to live. One of the things that was really helpful that Zach said yesterday, and when you watch this, I'm sure you'll think the same thing. He talked about a bamboo plant, which when it starts to grow, you would think, like all plants, it's in the ground and over time it grows up. Well, a bamboo plant, when it starts growing for the first time, it doesn't grow up, it starts growing down for several years. And it grows down so that it can establish a strong root system and be firm. And then I think Zach said after 4 or 5 or so years, the bamboo plant finally starts growing up. And it doesn't just grow up and take a long time over years and years. It grows up I think he said, to like 90 feet in a matter of months or in a year's time. So it grows up really fast as soon as it has a strong root base. So I think the encouragement in that word, and especially as this passage talks about a lot of plants, roots near water, all this imagery of greenery and life and fruitfulness. When there's reliance upon God, the bamboo plant imagery kind of gives us the same idea. When we have a strong root base, when we have a firm foundation, not in ourselves, not in our abilities, our confidence, our track record, our finances, all of our relationships, but we have a firm foundation in who Jesus is, we have hope like no one else. And that hope is contagious and encouraging. And it doesn't make every fear go away. It doesn't make bad things disappear. It just means that we can withstand things and have perseverance. And that's the perseverance that Jesus gives us when we have hope in him. And so as we begin this week and we have some more Devos to come, would you be encouraged that having hope in Jesus means that you can withstand so much in this life because of who he is, not because of what you can do, not because of your abilities, not because of how strong or courageous you are, but because of how faithful Jesus is. Happy Monday. We love you all, and we'll see you Wednesday and Friday.